guys, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're going to be talking about if a sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong is going to come out, or if there's just going to be another movie in the Monsterverse sometime soon. We're gonna get into that in just a second here, but first I'm gonna need you guys to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Or like, you know, horror adjacent content. It's big monsters fighting each other. I mean, come on, that's like horror enough. I think you'd be pretty scared if you saw Godzilla walking towards your house shooting his nuclear breath at everything. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link for that is in the description below. Alright, now let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Well, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast!
You son of a...
God, don't do that.
But sometimes that is better.
So because I don't really have time to do like a spoiler review of Godzilla vs. Kong, I'm going to do a very quick like 1-minute version of it right now. My basic thoughts on the film are just exactly what I expected. We got a pretty crappy human story that I felt like was slightly, ever so slightly better in the step in the right direction. It was like a little better than Godzilla King of the Monsters, but not by much. But we also got awesome monster battles, which is exactly what I was expecting. I thought the CGI was gonna be great, and it was. Mechagodzilla was super cool. And that whole fight sequence was awesome. But the most disappointing thing about the film is that they promised us one of them would fall. That didn't happen. That just didn't happen. What the heck? I love Adam Wingard. He has made 2 terrific horror films plus directed segments of VHS. And then he goes and does something like this to us. I don't get it. I was so frustrated with that ending because you promised us one of them was gonna fall. And the only one that fell was Kong. Like, he literally fell over at one point, I guess. Maybe he was supposed to be taken literally. Maybe I just took it the wrong way. But man, I mean, talk about like a clickbait movie. Like, yeah, there's clickbait videos on there. I'm guilty of it, I'm not gonna lie. But like, this whole movie was one big clickbait scam that is making a bunch of money, and I'm kind of furious about it. That's my basic thoughts on it. I was a little disappointed by the film overall, but besides that, it was pretty much exactly what I expected. The whole like center of the earth stuff was like a little whack. I didn't really care for that either, but like, yeah, it was fun, it was enjoyable. They'll probably make another one, or will they? So as of right now, there is not a new Godzilla or Kong film in the works because the deal between Toho and Legendary, you know, the Japanese studio and the American studio that were making these movies, well, that expired last year. So you can't really make any more movies if there's no deal between the 2 studios that own the rights to both of these properties. So it's not really going to happen unless there's like a new deal that gets struck. And that all depends on how well Godzilla vs. Kong does at the box office, which we've all been worried about the film because it went straight to HBO Max. It's gonna lose a lot of viewership, like the theater viewership that is, because people aren't actually paying for a movie ticket. There's less money kind of going to this film now because of that. I'm sure HBO Max has some kind of deal with the studios where it's like, yeah, here's like $100 million to put it straight on our streaming service or something that goes right to the film. I don't know like the legality terms and all that, like about how everything works with that. I'm not 100% sure. But I can rest easy knowing that the film did make a bunch of money from HBO Max at least, if not people going to the theaters, which obviously not a lot of people can go to the theaters right now. But besides the pandemic, the film is doing really well. Like, it made a bunch of money this past weekend. Like, there's a pandemic going on right now, and the film still makes nearly $200 million just in the past couple days. That's pretty crazy. Really, like, record-setting numbers. I can't, like, what if there wasn't a pandemic going on right now? How much money would this freaking movie make? I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Kind of frustrates me a little bit because of how not so great that this film was, but that's okay, whatever. Although I didn't love Godzilla vs. Kong, I do want to see more movies, and the possibility of that happening, I would say, is pretty good considering how well this film's doing. When asked about the future of the Godzilla films 1 year ago, Toho's head of project development, Akito Takashi, said, "There might be something coming out from Japan, there might be something from the United States, there might be a collaboration, we're unsure. We're excited to know as well." The director of Godzilla vs. Kong, Adam Wingard, said in an interview with Collider that he would like to continue the story, but the matter is out of his hands. Wingard said in a quote, "I'd love it to be the birth of something new, But I guess it just depends on just how the movie's received and all those kinds of things that are out of my hands. Wingard continues and says, I know where we could go potentially with future films, but to a certain degree. The Monsterverse was kind of created with the idea in mind that there was going to be always a, these films were leading towards Godzilla vs. Kong. So a couple things going off of those quotes. Like I said earlier, Godzilla vs. Kong is doing really well at the box office, even considering this pandemic, so obviously it's being received pretty well, even if the reviews are kind of mixed. The other thing is Wingard said that all these movies were kind of leading up to Godzilla and Kong fighting. Right, but there's more to this that has not been resolved yet. Now, King Ghidorah was defeated by Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters, but there's a lot of stuff there that has not been resolved. Like, they have to do Mecha Ghidorah in a new movie. Like, that just has to happen. They set it up in the last film, kind of, a little bit. Was the explanation for that they used, like, King Ghidorah's head or whatever as, like, the thing that controlled Mecha Godzilla? Is that they're explaining behind that? Because I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. I want to see Mecha Ghidorah. That's what I want to see. I want to see Ghidorah come back to life and Godzilla and him have some kind of battle. I would be totally down for that movie. Also a Kong sequel. Like, why not? Let's have the next movie be King Kong, because, like, he's kind of the king of that, like, underground center of the earth worlds or whatever. Maybe he meets more monkeys down there and, like, they're kind of just living in peace or something and they have some kind of war. I don't know, something. You can make a whole movie out of that. I'd watch it. That'd be fun. My point is, there's a lot that this series could still explore, taking things from the past and making them new again. Kind of just like what they did with Mechagodzilla. Like, I don't know about you guys, but my favorite thing about that movie as a whole was Mechagodzilla's new design. That was so cool. Him being the big bad guy of this film was honestly the big redeeming factor of it. Besides that, I'd be pretty underwhelmed by the film, considering that there wasn't really a victor and it's a versus movie, so what the hell. Overall, I would really like to see a new Monsterverse movie or just more continuations sometime in the future, maybe in the next couple of years, who knows, maybe Toho and Legendary strike up a contract like tomorrow. It could happen. It could happen. I mean, like, this film is making a bunch of money right now. Who knows? Maybe in a couple weeks, this film will gross like $1 billion or something. I mean, it's very possible. Maybe not so possible with the pandemic. I mean, maybe that's a bit of a stretch to say it'll make that much money, but it has made $200 million with everything going on, so who knows. What do you guys think about more Monsterverse movies? Would you like to see more, or are you kind of happy with how Godzilla vs. Kong ended? That was a hard sentence to get out. Leave me a comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching my video on a Godzilla vs. Kong potential sequel. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Just look up KillJoy Jake. I'll come up. Also, don't forget to support me on Patreon. The link for that is in the description below. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.